I'm sure you've often seen us use Doppler radar here on WAT6 on your side, but do you know how it works? Well, first of all, this is what it looks like. It looks like a golf ball sitting on a tee, but that's not the actual radar. That's called the radome. It actually protects the radar, which is inside of that. But how Doppler radar works is it transmits a signal. It sends it to the cloud. The cloud refracts it or bounces it back, and basically the radar is like a giant ear. It listens to and receives a signal. So what kind of signal is it receiving? Well, it knows if it's seeing a raindrop. It basically tracks the shape and the location of this object, so it knows where it is, also how fast it's moving and which way it's going. If it's going towards the radar site or away from the radar site. And we often use these colors when we're tracking severe storms, like this storm, the Pleasant Hill tornado that was in Cumberland County back on April 8th. Again, you can see the winds going towards the radar and going away from the radar. So that was that counterclockwise spin that produced the tornado. This is what it looks like as that storm actually traveled a little further to the north and east towards downtown CROSSVILLE itself. Another thing, old Doppler radar basically just sent out one horizontal pulse moving in one direction, and that was okay because it gave you the location and movement of the storm. But a recent upgrade a few years ago called dual polarization radar does a 3D cross section. It sends a vertical and a horizontal pulse at the same time. Why is that important? Basically, it can measure the size and distance of an object. So it knows if it's a snowflake, it knows if it's rain. Again, it's getting a cross section so you know how big it is. Another thing it can do, it can also detect whether it's non-meteorological or if it's something like birds or debris from a storm. Speaking of debris in a storm, we had the same thing happen in that Pleasant Hill tornado, produced some damage to some buildings and even of the elementary school there. Thankfully, there were no injuries. So that's how Doppler radar works. For the WAT6 on your side storm team, I'm meteorologist Ken Weathers.